Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another great episode of Rappin' Wrestling. It's your boy, T the Monster, and this time we're going to talk about the end of the year awards that 2024 has bestowed upon us. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and get into that with y'all. I got a couple things here on my list, and we're going to talk about the end of the year award. Alright, so we're going to start off with our first award of the year, ladies and gentlemen, the NXT Star of the Year. This award is going to go to whom I believe has been the biggest star in NXT this year, who's been the one who really waving that flag. And of course, we're going to do with all of these awards, they're going to be a male and a female category for both, just to be fair, and that way, you know, everyone gets included. So for the male NXT Star of the Year, for me, I'm going to go with my boy Trick Williams for multiple reasons. Number one, he's a champ. Number two, his music is crazy, okay? Like, he already has the crowd going, whoop that trick. He has the crowd in the palm of his hands, and he puts on great matches as well. He's had great matches all year down there in NXT. Shawn Michaels and company have been doing their great job themselves and just giving us something to watch. We're seeing the new up-and-coming wrestlers that we'll probably see some of them coming up this year, maybe some of them coming to the Rumble, etc. going into 2025. So I'm giving the NXT Star of the Year to my man Trick Williams because he got the crowd in the palm of his hand. He has the package. He has a total package of what a WWE superstar is going to look like coming forward. A couple things that he needs to work on, but in 2025, I'm curious to see if he's going to hit the main roster and who he could feud with over there in on Raw or SmackDown. So let's see what he does with that. For the NXT Female Star of the Year, I'm going to give it to Jada Parker. Jada Parker's had great matches this year. Not only has she had great matches this year, she's done great on promo work. She's had a couple memorable moments and viral moments as well this year down there in NXT. And on top of that, Jada Parker's gorgeous. Like, she's done a great job in just using her body to really sell the match. So good job from her. Her being as young as she is and having the talent that she has as well. And not only does she look great, but she can actually wrestle as well. So, and that's what I'm starting to see now with a lot of the women coming up out of NXT. They look great and they can wrestle, which essentially is what's going to drive ratings to go up. Coming from someone who is a fan of the Attitude Era and grew up in the Attitude Era, for the most part, we saw women just walking around in bikinis and having bra and panties matches and evening gown matches, etc. And we didn't really get to see them physically wrestle. So now that we're getting a chance as someone who's been watching it then to watching it now, seeing kind of the same thing where they're looking nice in the ring and they're beautiful, of course, but they can actually wrestle and they get a chance to truly like show their talent and their athleticism and their character and their personalities and stuff like that. I think that's the win for all of the women, not just in NXT, but all of the women on the WWE roster, both Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So that said, shout out to Jada Parker for winning what we call here at Rappin' Wrestling, the NXT Female Superstar of the Year. So shout out to her. Moving on, I'm going to go to the Faction of the Year. Faction of the Year for me, I don't have a female version of this, but because honestly, there's only one answer, and that's the Bloodline. The Bloodline have done their thing this year, and by thing, I mean every single body included, from Roman Reigns to Jimmy Uso to Jey Uso to Paul Heyman to Sami Zayn to even Solo Sikoa before they all split in the top of the year before WrestleMania. They all had great character work. They all kept everybody coming back to watch more, and then of course them splitting off into this new this new bloodline into the OG bloodline as well, and having the two of them like kind of feud, and then showing the different members of the new bloodline. Jacob Fatu coming into the fold, the Tongans coming into the fold. Rumors, of course, of the bloodline growing into more people. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now with the bloodline saga, especially after what happens with Raw on Netflix next week. It being the tribal combat match between Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that, man. What are they going to do after the feud? I don't know. I think that they're supposed to be Roman, and I think the rumors are supposed to be Roman versus CM Punk over at WrestleMania. So we'll see who they feud with after. We'll see. Next category that I have for our awards this year is the female and of course male category as well. For the male title, it's going to be the topic is Up and Comer of the Year. Of course, that's going to have a male and female category. For the male Up and Comer of the Year, I'm going no one other than Braun Breaker. had a great year so far. Came up from the roster at the top of the year. He's become the Intercontinental Champion. Had a great feud with Jey Uso. He's shown nothing but promise going forward for his career. He's athletic. He has the crowd barking and all kinds of shit. I don't know if he's a tweener, if he's a heel, if he's a face, but he's doing great on the roster. So shout out to Braun Breaker. I know WWE is really high on him, and it'll be interesting to see what plans that they have for him going forward into 2025. I think with this one, he's young. He's young. I think Braun Breaker's like 25, between 25 and 27, something like that. So slow cook with him. Don't give us too much of him. Slow cook with him. Wrap up the year with him. Let him have a strong run, strong run in the Rumble, and then maybe like toward this time next year, start building him up toward like a legit nice little Mania match and stuff like that. I mean, if he's not going to be champion going into Mania, I don't have one, but have him building up into a high-profile match next year for Mania. That's my takes on Braun Breaker for that. Up-and-comer female wrestler of the year. Let me see. I'm sorry. Who do I have? For up-and-comer female wrestler of the year, I have none other than Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green's had a great year this year so far. On top of her winning the Women's United States Championship that she just received as well, she's shown great promise. She's had great mic work as well. On top of her putting on great and solid matches she's had on some of the latest PLEs that's been going on in WWE also. So Chelsea Green, keep that shit going, man. Keep going. You guys see how well she's been doing by WWE trusting her and giving her the Women's United States Championship. Keep that shit going into 2025. It'll be interesting to see that who she can feud with, and with the women's roster growing as strong as it is. Like I said, hopefully we can maybe get some call-ups from NXT, have some of those women like Jada Parker come up there next year, and then maybe Jada Parker feuds with Chelsea Green and get that belt. Who knows? Put them belts to asses out there for sure. But anyway, Chelsea Green is going to be the one to receive the female up-and-comer award this year. So shout out to Chelsea Green. And from there, we're going to move on over to the tag team. Okay, so for this one as well, we also have a female and male category also for the tag team of the year. Male tag team of the year, I'm going to go last. Female tag team of the year, I'm going to go none other than Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Both of them putting on great matches. Jade Cargill coming at the top of the year in 2025, of course, having the year that she's had, getting better, learning the WWE style of wrestling, and learning how to work the cameras and things like that. She's had a couple of botches this year, a couple noticeable ones. I don't think one or two of them wasn't her fault. The one with, of course, the ropes being slippery at one of the PLEs. I think they were over in Europe. I forget if it was Berlin or if it was Lyon. But either way, she jumped over the ropes and kind of slipped in, getting in there. So a couple little botches and things like that I noticed. Again, maybe it's from her being kind of new and adjusting to the WWE style of wrestling. But she's also put on a great year with Bianca Belair being the tag team champs. Bianca Belair, of course, being the stellar performer that she is and being one of the faces of the female division. Her, of course, being being tagged and put with Jade Cargill, showing her the ropes of how to become the essentially the face of the women's division. So good job to both of them putting on stellar matches, showing feats of strength, etc. It'll be interesting to see, with Jade being out now, supposedly healing from her neck injury, what they gonna do with them belts, and are they going to have Bianca and Jade feud with each other at Mania? That could be something. Who took out Jade Cargill? We don't know. Was it Naomi? Was it Bianca Belair? Who was it? Was it Mishin? Who knows? Lots of places you can go with that one. So again, female tag team of the year is going to go to Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. That leaves, of course, the male tag team of the year is going to go to none other than the New Day for me. The New Day, they've had a phenomenal year. Obviously, them recently turning heel and getting nuclear heat as we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. But of course, them also being the biggest faces for the last 10 years. And then this year, of course, losing Big E. And then them still being able to put on solid matches with each other. And then the character change between the two. The characters, the dynamic between Kofi and Xavier, showing them butt heads and how a true friendship and brotherhood would be, outside of the camera being there. Of course, people are going to argue and say, oh, I don't think you should have did this. Oh no, you shouldn't have did that, etc. So it's great to see them build character work together, showing them how to go into their heel side to see what they can do to further push the product. Maybe it was getting stale with them being faces the entire time and throwing pancakes. So without Big E, it's interesting to see how they're going to go as these heels. And like I said before, it would be great to see Big E get healed up and clear before Mania so he can have a match with them. But as of now, this is my tag team of the year. And that leaves us with one last topic and one last award, which is the MVP. Of course, this one also is going to have a both female and male category. And for the female category, the MVP of the year, I'm going to give it to Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan's had a great year, of course, both being a heel and then, of course, both just leading the women's division and having great matches herself as well. Her turning heel before WrestleMania, before the year started with the whole Dominic Mysterio and stealing Rhea's boyfriend, having the great match that they did, Dom turning heel and like going with Liv at Mania, and then them leading the Judgment Day and Liv, running from Rhea for most of the year, and having, just great matches, with whomever she's been partnered up with in the ring. So shout out to Liv, of course, with that. She's had great character work. She's done great in promos. Her facial reactions to certain things have been great. The chemistry with her and Dom is great. The chemistry with her and Rhea is great. And then, of course, just overall, she just had a great year. She's she's a great champion. She can actually wrestle. She's not just a paper champion too. So I want to give that to Liv Morgan. It'll be interesting, as I said before, to see who she feuds with going into 2025. And so for the male MVP of the year, no drum roll needed, I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre for the simple fact that him and Punk's feud was completely fire. Lots of personal shots getting thrown in between those two. Drew, of course, putting on great matches between the three of those guys. Putting on the great matches, those three matches that they had with him and Punk, all of them were stellar matches. The character work was there, and then all of it was based on a bracelet. Like, think about that. No championship was needed. It was all based on a bracelet. Punk getting his bracelet with his dog's name on it for the most part. And then, of course, them two, like, fighting each other and avoiding each other, calling each other bitches and hoes and all kinds of shit. Like, all great character work from both ends, from both CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. I just say Drew's the MVP only because he wasn't injured for most of the year. Drew McIntyre had great character development this year. He grew as a character, and I think he's really solidifying himself as one of those top guys in WWE and one of the most reliable guys as well. So as of now, that's my MVP for 2024, and those are all of my winners for 2024. So next year we'll be right back here in 365 days with our awards for 2025. But until then, if you haven't, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and go ahead and hit that bell notification to be sure to know when we are dropping more videos here on Rappin' Wrestling. I wish you well. I'll see you soon. Peace.